Welcome back, CSU fans, for another edition of Cougar Corner. As always, I'm your host, Travis McCall, and we have a great show planned for you today. Columbus State Athletic Director Jay Sparks will be joining us, along with Assistant AD Julio Llanos. But first, here's a quick recap of what's been going on with Columbus State Athletics. The Columbus State track and field teams had a tremendous showing in the 2011 Coach O Invitational, hosted by Troy University on Saturday, April 23rd. The Cougars participated against many top schools from all over the Southeast. In women's action, Sham Crawford continued her great season as she blazed through the line in only 11.70 seconds, placing her in sixth in the event. Asha Alexander also posted a very respectable time of 12.30, crossing the line in 16th place. Crawford was at it again, this time coming up just short in the 200-meter dash as she finished in second place with a time of 23.74. Alexander again finished in 16th place, crossing the line in 25.45 seconds. Miriam Cobb finished in 11th place in the 400-meter dash, posting a time of 1 minute, 1 second. Oriole Warren broke the school record in the 100-meter hurdles, posting a time of 15.77. Marina DeFore finished right behind her with a time of 15.78. The Lady Cougars dominated the 3,000-meter run with 6 CSU runners finishing inside the top 12. Brittany Skiles led the way, finishing in second place with a time of 10 minutes, 52 seconds. The CSU quartet of Asha Alexander, Keela Beverly, Miriam Cobb, and Sham Crawford broke another Columbus State record, crossing the line in 47.19 seconds in the 4x100-meter relay. Shatil Bradford performed very well for Columbus State in the field portion of the Coach O Invitational, breaking 2 school records. In the discus throw, Bradford came just 0.06 meters shy of winning the event as she garnered the second-place finish with a distance of 41.94 meters. Bradford also finished in 5th place in the shot put event, posting a distance of 12.45 meters. In the men's portion, Jeremy Williams crossed the line in 21.86 seconds, which is good enough for 10th place and a new school record in the 200-meter dash. In the 400-meter dash, Williams finished 5th place and Gerald Chichester finished in 8th place, both with top 10 finishes for the Cougars. Russell Jones finished in 11th place in the 800-meter run, while his teammate Ian Edwards was right behind him in 13th place. Just like the women, the men also had an event in which they performed very well in the field portion. In the 1,500-meter run, the Cougars locked up 2nd, 4th, 5th, and 6th places, while John Neal led the way, crossing the line in 4 minutes and 5 seconds. Columbus State will have a week and a half off before participating in yet another Division I meet. On Friday and Saturday, May 6th and 7th, CSU will travel to Tallahassee as they compete in the FSU Twilight competition. The men's golf team received an at-large bid to compete in the NCAA Southeast Regional held at the Victoria Hills Golf Club in DeLand, Florida. CSU enters the tournament as the 4th seed in the Southeast region and joins 5 other teams from the Peach Belt Conference. The Cougars have made the NCAA tournament field every year since becoming an NCAA-sanctioned school. The first round is set for May 2nd, while the final round is set to conclude on May the 4th. On the women's side, Kamisha Anthony was one of 4 at-large golfers selected to compete in the NCAA Division II Women's Golf South Regional. Anthony is the first Columbus State women's golfer chosen to participate in the NCAA tournament after finishing 2nd at the PBC Championship. Play is set to begin on May 1st at the club at Eaglebrook in Lakeland, Florida. On the diamond, the Cougars dropped a tough 8-7 decision to Auburn Montgomery in their lone contest of the week. Auburn Montgomery jumped out to a 6-0 lead and held off a late CSU rally to hold on for an 8-7 victory. Ryan Lewis and Cameron Griffin both left the yard in the losing effort for CSU. The Laws snapped a 4-game winning streak for the Cougars, dropping their record to 29-15 on the season. Columbus State will now take on Lander in the final PBC series of the regular season this weekend. Columbus State is currently 13-8 in conference and in first place in the PBC West Division. All right, we're now joined by CSU Athletic Director, Mr. Jay Sparks. Coach Sparks, welcome to Cougar Corner.
Thank you, Travis. Appreciate y'all having me.
Yes, sir. Coach, you were the first ever guest on the show. That was back when we had a tape recorder on the conference room table. It's come a long way since then, don't you think?
I do, and I think it only helps our department. I think it helps all of our programs. I think it helps the university as a whole. You know, it's just appropriate to say thanks to the College of Education and Dr. Baltimore and all of his staff for putting this together and allowing us to use it. We're excited about it, and we hope that this is something that we can develop even further and increase ways to enhance athletics at Columbus State.
Okay, well, a lot's going on since your last time on the show. Kind of update us on what's been going on with, as far as we hosted the Rifle National Championships. We had a car auction. We also, the spring sports have been full in action. Just kind of update your thoughts on what's been going on throughout the spring semester.
Well, spring is always a really, really busy time in athletics. You have so many teams going and competing, but it's a fun time because you've got something going on just about every single day of the week, and it gives me, a fan of sports, an opportunity to watch lots of different activities. We did have a wonderful showing with NCAA Rifle Championships, and a program that we've only had for 2 years, and then we host the national championships, and that's what I kept trying to emphasize to people on our campus and in the community. This is the national championship. It's not the Georgia championship or the regional championship, but this is everybody that's anybody in rifle. And we got a lot of help from the NCAA and others, and it went off smooth. And we really think that people walked away here with a fondness for Columbus, Georgia, and hopefully a fondness for Columbus State University. So that was a real positive. You spoke about the car auction. That was something that it was a first-time thing. We didn't know how it was going to play out. We were trying to, secure and raise some money for the athletic department, and with just a hope and a whim, so to speak. And wow, it turned out really, really nice too. Especially turned out really nice for the winner, who walked away with the opportunity to take a cash gift or a brand new car. So I don't think there's any question we'll do that again. Now we're at the end of this semester, spring semester. We're into championship season. I think baseball is the only sport that has a regular season game left, but I know golf's in the championships. Softball's waiting to hear. We're hosting men and women's tennis regional championships. Again, just a lot of activity, most every day of the week, a lot of fun. This should be the prime time for all athletes as well as coaches.
When you first talked, you had a goal for the athletic department that each team be able to compete for a conference championship. Do you think that athletic department as a whole is moving in the right direction as far as that's concerned?
I really, really do, and I would be quite disappointed if we had a coach on our staff that didn't feel like that was the ultimate goal, to win a Peach Belt Conference championship. We certainly want to go further than that, but you got to have your initial goal, and that has to be the initial goal since we're a member of that conference. I think every coach on our staff, whether it be head or assistant, has that goal, and I think we're all pushing hard for it. And quite frankly, I don't think I have to push very hard. I think that every head coach's ego wants that to happen. I think every player wants that to happen. Sometimes our coaches have to help the players see that they want that to happen, as you very well know. But I do think we're moving in the right direction. Some of our very young sports, namely rifle or women's golf, have just made tremendous strides towards that. Now, have we gotten there? No, not yet, but I do think that we're moving forward and not backwards. So year to year, I think we'll compete. I'll just want to see us at the top when it's all said and done, sooner rather than later.
Okay, well, conference championships is one goal that you've spoken of. Now, as far as goals or plans for the athletic department, where do you see the athletic department going in the next few years?
Well, I think the first thing that we've got to do is kind of get through this budget crisis, and it's within the state of Georgia and all over the Southeast, and most likely, even though I don't know this firsthand, United States wide. It's just higher education and the dilemma we're in, and so that, I don't want to say that's handcuffed us, but it's kept us from moving forward maybe as quickly as we'd like. We will definitely add sports. We will definitely try to grow our athletic department, but we've got to pick and choose the right times to do so. Just 3 years ago, we added those 4 sports, and we've got to let them get very rooted before we think about adding anything else. But But if I don't grow the athletic department, then I'm not doing what our president's asking me to do. If he doesn't grow the university, he's not doing what he thinks is best for Columbus State University. So I think we've got a mission, and I've got a great leader in the president, Tim Escon, leading us and pushing and wanting us to succeed. So I'm going to try to do my darndest to please him, at the same time do what's right for the athletic department.
Okay, kind of flipping the coin a little bit. When you're not at a game or any other type of event for CSU, what do you like to do in your spare time?
Watch sports on TV. And it's the truth. I've gotten so good with the clicker, I can watch 3 sports on 3 different channels all at once. At least that's what my wife says. But, I mean, really spare time, heck, I'd love to play golf. I love to read. I do a lot of yard work. At this point in time, though, in my wife and my marriage, we want to spend more time together. You know, our children are out of the house or out of the nest, so to speak, and so we're looking for things to do that we can do together, and so that's going to become a priority for me.
All right, Coach. Well, thanks for being with us here on Cougar Corner.
I appreciate it, and go Cougars.
All right, we're now joined by Assistant Athletic Director Julio Llanos. Julio, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
All right, well, get things rolling. What made you want to get into the sports medicine field?
My interest in sports medicine probably goes back to high school, my senior year. My brother actually broke his ankle playing soccer, and unknowingly as a high school senior, made him walk on it because that's what all the coaches at the time were telling us to do when you heard something. And come to find out it was broken, so at that point, that's kind of where my interest started with sports medicine, and since then has been my passion.
Okay, well, you've been a head athletic trainer for, is it 6 years at CSU? Or?
7 years at CSU, and prior to CSU, I was at Fort Valley State University as their head trainer.
Okay, well, for those people who are probably wondering, what goes into a day-to-day, you know, being a head trainer? What do you have to do on a day-to-day basis?
You know, the interesting thing about sports medicine and being a head athletic trainer is the day-to-day is very unknown. You have to kind of be ready for anything. Typically, show up in the morning. We do pre-practice treatments with student athletes, take care of any administrative duties that we may have, and then around lunchtime, we'll get a pretty good rush of student athletes that come in before practice. Soon as practice gets start going, then we have a little downtime for about an hour or 2 hours while teams are practicing. And then when practice concludes, then all the student athletes would come in to get any kind of post-practice treatments, ice, stem, stretching, what have you. During the day, obviously you're going to take care of the unknown, you know, somebody who may have gotten injured that you didn't know of, or some request from a coach or from an administrator that may need something urgently or something that we need to work on project-wise. So it's the kind of job that really keeps you on your toes because you're really not sure what you're going to do on a daily basis. But that's the great thing about the profession, is that it keeps it very interesting. So your days usually aren't the same every day.
Okay, well, any great athletic department's got a bunch of individuals that just wear a bunch of different hats, so to speak. This year you had the assistant AD title kind of tagged on to also being head athletic trainer. What is your new title? What does that entail as far as your, you know, what responsibilities were added?
The responsibilities that were added to me were now I'm assistant athletic director for sports medicine, also diversity and inclusion, and the third part was student athlete affairs, which that's a program through the NCAA that tries to get the student athlete involved in different aspects of development while they're a student athlete at whatever institution that they're at. For example, we did a couple projects where we went out to Valley Rescue Mission, Open Door Community House, and the House of Mercy, and we did a donation drive for Thanksgiving and for Christmas where the student athletes and the coaches donated, and we were able to go purchase food and non-perishable items and donate them to those nonprofits respectively. The diversity and inclusion part of the job has more to do with fair practices, hiring practices. So as we build the department and as we grow the department, when we have candidates that come in, we try to ensure that everybody's given an equal chance to apply and hopefully obtain a position within the university and the department.
All right. Well, during your times as head athletic trainer, what was you would say is the toughest situation that you've encountered? Maybe it was an injury on the field or just something that's happened. What would that be?
Yeah, you know, I think in general the toughest situation is probably the unknown, being that you're not really sure when something's going to happen, and you just have to be ready, and your staff has to be ready, because I certainly could not do what I do without our staff, Jared Sandler, our assistant, soon-to-be head athletic trainer, and our graduate assistants, Katie Cardinal, Tracy Greaves, and Kelly Saramet, and all the other GAs that we've had in the past. They make my job incredibly easier to do, but it's a matter of getting everybody organized. As far as a particular incident, you know, I think they're all pretty equal. You have to really keep a cool and calm demeanor when you deal with incidents or injuries. First and foremost for the student athlete and for the parents and for the coaches, because you know we need to be the ones that are calm to take care of the situation. So I've had my fair share of injuries. Probably at Columbus State we've had some pretty severe injuries. At my prior institution I've had probably more severe injuries, being that we had Division II football. We had some pretty significant musculoskeletal injuries. We had a dislocated knee at practice, and we had an open tib-fib fracture at practice, which we've had some severe injuries here, but not as severe as way ahead at Fort Valley. So I think the level, the kind of, since we don't have a true contact sport like a football, we've been blessed to not have those kind of injuries, but we still had our fair share of, you know, significant ACL injuries, shoulder injuries, you know, fractures, so on and so forth.
All right, on the more positive side of things, what's your most memorable experience during your time here at CSU?
I think being able to see our athletic team succeed on the field, like Coach Sparks had mentioned, particularly Peach Belt championships, regional championships, attending the national championships, because there's a lot of behind-the-scenes work that needs to go into getting these teams and these student athletes prepared. And like I said, dealing with the unknown injury, I just sprained my ankle in the dorm, I've got a match in 2 days, what do I do? You know, those are the kind of things that are probably the most rewarding within the position.
Okay, well, as far as your spare time is concerned, Coach Sparks was on earlier. He said he enjoys watching sports in his spare time. What do you like to do in your free time?
I'll ditto that. I love to watch sports. My wife probably gets on me a lot about that. I do have 2 young children. I have a 4-year-old daughter, Liani, and a 2-year-old son, Julio III. So most of my spare time is usually spent playing with them, you know, since they're young.
All right. Well, Julio, thanks for being with us here on Cougar Corner.
Pleasure being here. Thanks a lot for inviting me.
Yes, sir. That's going to do it for another edition of Cougar Corner. Special thanks to all the folks in the studio here in Jordan Hall for making this show possible. As always, you can keep up with the latest CSU athletic news on www.csucougars.com or check us out on Facebook or Twitter. Until next time, I'm your host, Travis McCall, and thank you for your support of CSU Athletics.